All right. So we are live once again. It is Friday, excellent Friday, um, and we are live on this platform, offering an opportunity for individuals on their journey of enlightenment who are aware that they are on their journey of enlightenment to have interaction with us in hopes that we are able to be of support and not just support, but to accelerate the process of growth and expansion that allows one to get to know their true nature and source at a faster rate and to be able to live their life as inspired, free of hesitation, free of, at its core, any fear. That's the goal, of which, yes, you can achieve and begin to live from that space. We are thankful for this opportunity. We're excited for each of you. We want to let you know also that we do host live conversations via Zoom that we call our conscious discussions that you can register for and get the Zoom information for upon registering. If you just look in the description and follow the link, you can register, get that information, become a part of the community by being on our email list so that you're alerted for other opportunities to connect, other opportunities to be supported, and any other events that we have going on that may or may not be presented on this platform. We're excited for each of you. We're excited for you who have taken the time to come and participate here live. We're thankful for your energy that is going to support us in creating the dialogue and the interaction. We're thankful for each of you who have found this recording, for we know you are one who is making your growth and expansion a priority as well. So let's get started. Topic today that we have set forth is relationship is vibrational. The energy of the idea is key. The energy of the idea is key. That's powerful. That's actually the core of this interaction. We'll start talking a little bit about relationships, but actually the core is that the energy is key. The energy of everything is key. We have interactions with people often who are concerned about relationship, not just relationship as in partnerships, intimate partnerships, but it ranges from challenges that they're having with relationships in their families, with brothers, sisters, with their parents, relationships in their jobs and their careers. And the biggest challenge is, first of all, attachment to those closest to you. Expectation comes in, expectation of those close to you, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. There's an expectation there of who they should be, of who you think they should be, because they're not being that. They're not being the love that you think they should be. They're not being the support you think they should be. Being, they're not giving the attention. They're not giving the consideration that you think someone should in that position. And this is the challenge. This is the problem, that level of expectation. And so there's even beyond that, deeper than that, there's blame, there's responsibility. Who is actually at fault for how this experience is playing out and how it's making me feel? That's a challenge as well. Because in these scenarios, even those who are on this path of growth and expansion, the blind spots of the mind, the blind spots that are created by the mind, even for those who know and understand the inner creative process. It's very, very delicate. For one who knows the integrative process can still find themselves in a blind spot of casting responsibility, expecting one outside of him, especially someone close family or an intimate partner, casting responsibility unconsciously, hoping and wishing that they would change, that they would do something different so that the experience for you might change. When the truth is, they're merely reflecting an idea inside of you. They're merely reflecting an idea inside of you. Now, don't just think that we're talking about the not so great things, the things you would like to change. They also reflect the beautiful things. They also reflect the amazing things, the exciting things, but you know, those float by with the breeze. You don't really pay attention to those. Those you don't give much attention to. It's that which is unwanted that sticks out, that needs to be fixed. But the creative process is working in all ways and in all areas. That which you are excited about, that which is beautiful, amazing, they are reflecting that, and they are reflecting your fears. They are reflecting your insecurities. They are reflecting your doubts and your worries. They are reflecting your pain and your trauma. They're reflecting those as well. But understanding that you have an inner creative process and that it is always at work demands that you look for responsibility on the inside if you intend to transform or change an experience of which you are a part of. And that's where we get to focusing and paying attention on the energy of the thing. Let's say the energy of the idea, because every experience that is created around you is the result of an idea. And so when you begin to engage the energy of the idea, you're working at the roots, you're working at the core. So the question is, how do you want it to feel? How do you want it to feel? Now, we suggest all the time that to accelerate the process of growth and expansion and transformation, you want to work at two levels, right? Two levels, the vibration and the imagery. The mind works in pictures. So if you work with the imagery that you're entertaining in your mind and the feeling, the vibration, the frequency of the experience, if you work on those two things, those are at the core of experience. These are the core roots of the inner creative process. And if you're addressing those two things, then you're affecting transformation at its deepest point, thus creating the fastest results for yourself. Now, at the same time, if you affect one, you affect the other. It's not quite as fast, but you affect both if you just affect one. If you're playing and practicing in a to cultivate a higher vibrational expression over time, when you become working more consistent at expressing a higher level of vibration, the thought patterns born of that level of vibration will begin to make their way into your mind. So you're affecting both. If you play with the imagery on the other side of the coin, if you focus on the image of the experience that you're intending, the image of the creation, and you're holding it and you're placing your attention on it and you're focusing on it and you're setting your phone every hour, and every hour your alarm goes off, it signals you to entertain the image of that which you are intending over time. Well, not even really over time as in hours or days. If you're holding an image of an idea, it's only a short period of time in that segment of moments until you begin to feel the feeling of that experience in the present moment. And once you begin to feel the feeling, you want to continue to cultivate that feeling until you have embodied it fully. And when you have embodied it fully, you're not offering any resistance to it. For your system is a closed system. You cannot offer love and hate at the same time. But in the shifting of vibration can take a moment. If you're in frustration and you want to get out of that into a higher realm of vibrational expression, and you start entertaining the last time you were on vacation and had an amazing time, you start entertaining the last time you were out with your friends at a restaurant and you had the most excellent time, you start entertaining the last time you went to the movies and the movie was fantastic and you left wanting to call people and let them know how awesome the movie was. If you're entertaining those ideas, it won't be long before you start making the transition in feeling because of the idea that you're holding from the frustration or the anger into higher realms of feeling. You may or may not jump from frustration to excitement, but you will begin to elevate by shifting the idea and the imagery that you're placing your attention on. So if we just focus on the energy of the things, yes, the energy of a thing is key. For everything has an energy presence. Every idea is born of energy first. Every idea, every creation, including your planet, including your planet, has an energy structure, has an energy presence first and foremost before it is manifest physically. Which means if you focus on the energy level of a thing, then you're focusing on it at its roots, at its core. If you desire beautiful relationship, focus on the energy of that relationship. Focus on the idea of that relationship. What does it look like? How does it feel? This is focusing in, zeroing in on the energy of that relationship, whether it's intimate, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with your siblings, focusing on the energy of the idea, whether it's your job or career, whether it's something that you're entertaining, exploring, or a business idea. The energy presence of the intention of the idea is key, for it comes first before the physical manifestation of the thing. And you can play with this because there's no good, bad, right, wrong. You can play with entertaining it in lower vibration and see what materializes. You can play with it in inside of an entertaining higher frequency, excitement, joy, love, and see what begins to materialize around that idea. You can play with it because the inner creative process is always in motion and it operates the same no matter which direction you point your attention. Whether you're pointing your attention toward undesired experiences or desired experiences, the inner creative process does not distinguish between whether you want it or not. It only knows what you're placing your attention on and the color, the frequency, the tone in which you are bathing the idea. Energy, the energy presence, the energy of a thing is key. And when we say that, we're talking about its entire structure, the visual of it, the image of it, and the feeling of it. If you play there and you know that it exists in energy and that it's only a matter of perfect timing, that it materializes physically, and you have practiced with it, you have played with it enough to know that that is true without exception, then entertaining the energy structure, the energy of a thing, you can entertain the energy of a thing without offering any resistance to it because you've played with it enough. You've categorized and cataloged manifestation. manifestations of the actual thing on approach, that which has appeared in your experience based on the imagery of your intention that you're holding, based on your holding the feeling of the intention. And you've watched how you've come in contact with conversation, new conversation about the thing, how you've begun to see pieces and parts of the thing in your experience. You've written all of these things down. You put the dates, and you have proven to yourself the truth of all that we discuss and all that you have learned, to the point where now that you know if the energy structure is real, then it will be physically materialized. And when you know, KNOW, when you know that, and you also know that you're taken care of with or without it, then there's no fear. There's no worry. There's no doubt. There's no low vibration to be cast in conflict or opposition to the energy development of your intention. You have to understand that in your meditation, in your placing your attention on a thing that you desire to materialize, in your feeling of that thing in the present moment of what you desire to materialize, you are establishing its energy presence, its energy structure. When you entertain ideas of whether you have enough money or not to create it, or whether you have enough information, or what someone else might think in relationship to that intention. When you entertain any of those ideas, you're offering energy that is in conflict to what you're desiring to create. You're offering energies and ideas that represent the absence of the thing and that resist the actual thing you're desiring to materialize. And that slows the process down because now you have energies that are pushing against each other. Even if the energies of the intention are greater, they still have resistance, which slows down the process. Think about if you can establish a visual of energies pushing against each other, a flow of energies pushing against each other. There's more energy coming this way, so this is going this way. There's more energy coming from this way, there's going this way. But because there's opposition, it's not flowing as freely and as quickly as it could. Right? Now think of a seed that has been planted in the ground, say a seed, a corn seed, a kernel of corn that has been sown in the ground. Now imagine you sowed it, you have sown it, fertilizer, water, all of those things, you're keeping the weeds out, but yet there's an invisible energy force of doubt or worry around that corn seed growing and manifesting fully a fully grown mature plant and the fruit of new ears of corn. Say you're offering resistance to that idea. Well, energetically, you're resisting its growth, which maybe in your imagination, it maybe looks like something's pressing down on that which is trying to grow up. That's the idea. Opposing energies are in conflict, resisting the free movement in the direction that an idea would go if there was no resistance. The plant would go freely, would grow freely with perfect timing into a mature plant with the fruit of new ears of corn, with a multiple, with an exponentially multiplied number of new kernels that could produce new plants. So the one kernel came up and created an abundance of possibilities. And it came up with perfect timing because you weren't offering any resistance to it. The process is the same. It's the exact same process for anything that you desire to materialize. They all start as ideas. They all start as energy structures with an energy presence. They all start as images within the mind and body, and the feeling of the successful experience of that idea also felt and expressed from within the body. That's where everything starts. Everything that has been created by man all started as an energy structure with the requisite feeling of, or the potential of its success. That feeling coupled with the energy, the imagery of the structure. That's where everything has started. From your chairs to your cars to your jet planes to your spaceships, any and all business endeavors, they all started from that same position. And there's nothing in that position that is against you materializing. And so when you understand that even your planet, once again, is an energy structure first, born of source, you have that same creative process within you to create that which you intend. The challenge is, are you engaging the inner creative process correctly and most powerfully? And are you free of resistance to its materialization? This is the challenge. The challenge is not out there to what you're trying to create. The challenge is in here, because in here is the thought of something out there being in conflict with something you're trying to create. And that is the conflict. Because the thought representation of the potential conflict out there is in here. The thought representation of the potential not great relationship is in here. The thought representation of the unsuccessful business endeavor is in here. The thought representation of the absence of abundance, of financial abundance, is in here. The thought representation of the absence of health, which yields dis-ease, is in here. Whatever is the dominant representation of that which you are aligned with is what sources the thought patterns, is what sources the feeling. It's all in here. And when you begin to address the energy structures that you are holding within, you directly affect that which appears outside of you. And it doesn't take long to play and practice with this to know the truth. Again, we suggest that you do not believe us. We suggest that you play and practice to prove it to yourself. For we are not creating for you. You are creating for you. So it doesn't matter what we believe. We can share our beliefs all day long, but it still doesn't affect your experience until you believe. So I think we'll pause there and open the discussion up for those who have questions or comments, or are inspired to an idea that they are able to share in the chat. We'll spend some time on that which you are inspired to ask or offer in the most highest fashion. Let's see. Thank you, Catherine. I've noticed that my most disappointing relationships were because I had expectations that were not met. Yes, we must We must have had different expectations. Well, don't know. The power is in recognizing that the individual, you as the individual, had expectations. And then the question is, what was the color of those expectations, right? Was fear or doubt or worry or anger or frustration coloring those expectations? That's the question. Versus, versus, this is the part, this is the kicker. Versus, and we know you may not have known this then, but for those of you listening, versus this is my intention. This is how I see it in my mind. This is how it feels. I've identified how it feels or would feel to have this experience. Now, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is all I'm going to focus on. I see my family. I see my brothers. I see my sisters. I see my parents in this light based on my intention. I see myself in this light based on my intention. And this is all that I see. And that's how you make the shift and change for you, for your experience, because you can't change anyone else's. But with the expectations, you have to understand that if everything is a reflection, then the pieces of the puzzle come together perfectly. That which you are expecting, if you think about it, if one is expecting of another, they're expecting them to be, expecting them to do, sometimes it's possible that you're expecting them to be and do something that you do not feel like you have for yourself. So you're expecting them to fill that void. But the truth is that if that's the case, one is offering the absence of the thing from their core. The absence of the thing is the truth. And then that's what they find with perfect timing, right? The puzzle pieces always line up, whether the experience is one of success and perfection and beauty, or it is damaging, hurtful, leaves you feeling like a victim or helpless. The puzzle pieces have lined up to create that experience. And if you notice, especially in family circumstances, sometimes those same family members lift you up, support you, make you feel good. And then those exact same family members are the ones who hurt you. One moment they're playing a role, they're playing role A based on that which you have expressed. And then 2 weeks from now, when the family's getting together on vacation in another state, they're playing another role. And they're unaware that they were the great person to you 3 weeks ago. And then this week, at this moment, they have hurt you. They're unaware because they're unconsciously playing their role. They're being a collaborative component in the creation of experience, and you are playing your role. You have offered this expression just as they have offered an expression that has lined up perfectly. And today you're the puzzle piece for this, and they are the puzzle piece that matches. An expectation is saying, hey, puzzle piece B, you're supposed to be something different. But that's not how you change the puzzle. You change the puzzle by choosing for yourself to be different. Because when you change the colors on your piece, when you change the imagery on your piece, you no longer line up with what this was. And the pieces that begin to show up to match you, they have to be a match to what you're offering, to the colors and the shapes and the forms on your puzzle piece in order to be a match. All right? For everyone watching, the puzzle pieces that show up to you as experience cannot change your piece. They only show up and match your piece to make the puzzle, to make the experience. Expectation is saying you need to change your piece in order for our experience to change, and I feel better about it and in it. But they can't change your piece. Only you can change the attributes of your piece. And when you change the attributes of your piece, then you no longer line up. In that specific circumstance, you no longer line up with these type pieces. The pieces have to shift and mold to line up with you. We hope that makes sense. Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else? Questions, comments, inspirations at the moment, in this present moment? Brave souls. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? What have you been inspired to? Awesome. Awesome. If there is nothing else, again, we are thankful for each of you who have allowed us to be of support. We're thankful for those who participated with their energy, supported us in guiding the interaction in the direction that it has gone. We're thankful for each of you who have found this recording and watched to the end and allowed us to support you in that fashion. Be sure to check the description for other opportunities to engage. Check the description for our conscious discussion conversations that are live via Zoom right now on Wednesdays, 12 Eastern Standard Time. We're excited for each of you. We're excited to support you in first and number one, beginning to know the truth of you in source. Number one, so that, and understand that that supersedes and surpasses all resistance, all conflict that you might find on the inside, all of the traumas, the dramas that surpasses all of that, reaching all the way back to the truth of you in source. Once you realize the truth of you in source, you're able to act on your inspirations free of hesitation. And that explodes your ability to create, to materialize. And that's what we're excited about for each of you. Again, we're thankful for the opportunity. Everyone, have a great, fantastic weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Thank you very much. Awesome. Awesome. I'm feeling more intuitive. Intuitive. Nice. Fantastic weekend.